Shake my friends, welcome back to my channel. My name is Shay and today we are going to chat about all the books I read in October. So this is a little late coming to y'all because I have been having some health issues. If you want to know a little bit more detail about that, I do detail it in an upcoming vlog. So my content will kind of be sporadic for a little while, but everything's okay, everything's fine. Just some issues which are hindering me from filming and putting out more content for you guys. The good news is that in October, it was my best reading month of the year. I read 12 books for a total of 4,841 pages, which may not be a lot by some, but it's a lot for me. So, if you don't know how I do my wrap up, I am going to talk about my lowest rated book to my highest rated book. But let's talk a little bit about my jars. Now, if you saw my November TBR, you know that I'm not doing my jars for November and December. So what does that mean? I'm not going to take a punishment for October. I did finish majority of that TBR. The only one that I did not read was my self-published indie book, and that's because I substituted that out for another self-published indie book because I just could only listen to audio. And so that's what happened there, but then I wound up not listening to the audio. Anyway, it's a whole thing, but I wanted to just let everybody know that, so I'm not taking a punishment. I'm not going to go over what exactly I read what for what, but we're going to go ahead and get started. And again, I'm going to start with my lowest ranked book to my highest ranked book. Coming in at number 12 is a reread for me, and I don't know why I got the hankering to do this, but I got the hankering to reread Guilty Pleasures by Laurel K. Hamilton. So this is the Anita Blake Vampire Hunter series. I do not know why. I remember loving these books back in the day. It's been well over a decade since I have read them, and I didn't read the whole series because, you know, in this series, if you don't know, it turns into some pretty crazy erotica for a few books, and that's where it lost me back in the day. But I just remember loving the first few books and wanted to dive back in, but I quickly realized that wow, that was my taste back then in the day. It's certainly not my taste now. We're following Anita Blake, who is a vampire hunter, and just she gets some entanglements into, I liken it to just like a Dresden File novel. She gets into entanglements with some vampires and other things go awry. But I won't talk much more about that. I'm sure it's a rather old series, and at this point in time, there are so many books in that series. I don't even know if she'll ever stop writing them, but somebody's still reading them. Coming in at number 11 is going to be Near the Bone by Miss Christina Henry. This is my first Christina Henry journey. I gave this book 3 stars. I don't know necessarily if I am a horror girly. I continue to read horror thinking I'm going to fall in love, but this was just okay. I will say that this has a lot of trigger warnings for rape, domestic violence. It's following our main character, and she and her husband live off the grid, and pretty immediately you realize that the marriage is not great. And then there is a creature in the woods. Maybe something's happening, I don't know, but I did overall enjoy this. I think a lot of people have issues with the ending. It's kind of ambiguous, I guess. So if you don't like ambiguous endings, maybe this wouldn't be for you. I don't know if that's a spoiler, but overall 3 stars. And I will be reading some more Christina Henry. Coming in at number 10 is going to be The Female of the Species by Minnie McGinnis, which I also gave 3 stars. Also, lots of trigger warnings for this novel of rape and the such, and Minnie McGinnis just goes there. When she writes a book, she does these heavy topics, but she does it in a way that is just way out there. It's not the first Minnie McGinnis novel I have read, but it's certainly a memorable one. We are following, at the first start of the book, we know that our main character has killed someone, and she is telling the journey of how she came to kill someone and how she got away with it. And I feel like, you know, as we're journeying back in time before she killed somebody, we are learning about her as a character, and we are learning about we're getting multiple perspectives of other people that are kind of in her life. And number one, this is very YA. I not that it's wrong. This is a YA age group, and I just think that I have grown out of that. I think I would have appreciated this novel more if I was not the age I am, if I was a younger adult. However, this book went crazy off the rails, and I feel like in fiction novels, I still want it to be somewhat believable, and I just felt that this novel was not as believable as I wanted it to be, therefore it only got 3 stars. Coming in at number 9 is My Best Friend's Exorcism by Grady Hendrix, because what is October without some good horror reads? And I've read a lot of Grady Hendrix books, majority of them, except for the Rockstar one that has the guitar pick on it. I don't know which one that is, but I gave this one 3 stars. It was fine. I just, again, don't know if I'm a horror girly. So I've been meaning to read this book for so long. It's been on my TBR for so long, and I'm happy to now say that I have read it. I think that this book basically follows a friendship. So we're getting to learn our characters and see, you know, how their friendship is formed, and then of course one of them is going to be possessed, and there's going to be some kind of exorcism. Again, I think horror novels just kind of push the boundaries too much for me to enjoy it as much as I wanted to. I don't think that this brought anything new to an exorcism novel. I haven't read The Exorcist. I probably should, but I just don't think it brought anything new to the table. Coming in at number 8 is going to be The Last Word by Taylor Adams. When I talk to you about books that go there and go crazy, this is going to be one of them. So I read No Exit. I thought it was fine. I wasn't as hyped for it as other people were. And then I read Hairpin Bridge, which I didn't like as much as No Exit. So I decided to give Taylor Adams a 3rd shot, and it was fine. I gave it 3 stars. We're following our main character who has left an Amazon review for a book that seems to be self-published. So obviously there are repercussions to any kind of negative reviews that you leave on a book, and she has left this author a 1-star review. He contacts her and asks her to take it down, and she promptly says no. And then she goes off and house sits in the middle of nowhere for someone to make some ends meet, and well, things go from there. But I will say that about 50% into the book, I thought it should have been over, because like climax had already happened. How can this book tell me anything different? I have 50% left. Like, what is going on? So I didn't think it went out there, but I do think if you are not really invested in mystery thrillers, or you don't read them a lot, this could be for you. Keep in mind that this is a book that takes place over in one area over a very short period of time. So if you don't like books that take place over a very short period of time, majority of this book does, this may not be for you. At number 7, which again is a 3-star read, that's going to be Curse of the Fallen by H.C. Newell. This is the book that I substituted for a book that I picked out of my self-published indie jar, and I overall really enjoyed this one. This is a trilogy, and the trilogy the last book just released. So I'm excited that I can promptly continue on if I wish. And so this book follows a girl who has magic. And of course, like everything, magic is not magic is kind of forbidden in this world. And so because she has magic, she is cursed, where if she uses her magic, these big bad people can hunt her down, and they of course want to take her. I think most of the magic people in here they already put to death, and then she has not been put to death yet. And so we're going on those adventures of her trying to break her curse. I know this is really shiny. Of her trying to break her curse and going through these trials and things to do so. Now, my main issue with this one was our main character, you know, she keeps telling us how, oh, I can't use my magic or they're going to find me because they can track me when I use my magic. But then every time you turn around, she's using her magic. with no repercussions, just whatever. Okay, I'm going to use my magic again. And the other thing that bothered me is that there is a romance in here that came out of nowhere, and I just didn't feel like they had any chemistry to have this romance. So those were the reasons that pulled this down for me and gave it 3 stars. But I do plan on continuing on. I thought the writing was beautiful. There was nothing wrong with the writing, and I do plan, like I said, to continue on in the series. Coming in at number 6 is going to be Skin Game by Jim Butcher. This is a Dresden novel. This is the one that comes before Peace Talks. I don't even know what number we're on at this point. I'm still liking the mysteries, I'm still liking all the characters, and I'm still liking Dresden as a person. And that's really all I can say, and I will, of course, continue on in the Dresden Files. Coming in at number 5 was a very big surprise, and that's going to be The Gardens of the Cursed by Katie Rose Poole. So this is a romantic fantasy, a romantasy. I think that it does a really good job of being a 50-50. So we're following this girl who breaks curses. You can put a curse on somebody, and somebody who happens to be kind of her enemy, or somebody she used to be friends with and then now she's not friends with anymore, has been cursed, and he asked her to break his curse. So of course it's kind of got an enemies to lovers vibe, even though they're not really enemies. So we have that romantic vibe, but we also have some mystery plots going on as to why did he get cursed and things of that nature, which I really enjoyed. And this is a duology. The second book comes out next year, and I'm going to continue on. I really did enjoy this one, and I gave it 4 stars. Coming in at number 4 is going to be Sign Here by Claudia Lux. This was a shocker to me. I thought that this was one of the most unique books I've ever read. I haven't read a book with this premise before ever, but we're following our main character, and he is in hell, and he has made it to the floor where he has to steal some souls, and he's about to make a complete set of a family. He needs one more soul from this particular family to complete his set, and then once he completes his set, something's going to happen. What's going to happen, we don't know. So he's journeying to complete his set, and then we're following this crazy family drama also. So crazy family drama, and he's trying to complete his set. So we're following two kind of things here, and I really enjoyed my time. I could not tell you guys how much of a great time this was. So if you want a good time, it had some humorous elements in it, which I laughed at because I thought it was funny, but I also really loved the mystery aspects of this book, and I would highly recommend. I also like the characters. Coming in at number 3 is going to be Starling House by Alex E. Harrow. This book is stunning. It's gorgeous. Do you see it? I love this book. I think gothic books are my jam. Now I read, what's the first book she read? The 10,000 Doors of January, which I really liked. I read it twice. And then I didn't read the witch book, and now I've returned with this one. It's fairly short, but I really enjoyed this one. We're following, there's of course this house in this town, and nobody seems to catch the owner, see the owner. They know he's there, but things, of course, there is a main character, and what's she gonna do? She is, down on her luck. She's not the prettiest. She couldn't afford dental care. She's not, she's taking care of her brother. And of course, she's always been drawn to the Starling House. And she is so drawn there that she basically gets a job as a house cleaner there. And things ensue from there. And I'm telling you, creepy old gothic houses are my vibe. And I really enjoyed this, and I gave it 4 stars. Coming in at number 2 is The Lessons Never Learned by Rob J. Hayes, and this is the second book in this series, which starts with Along the Razor's Edge. So we're following our Eska in the first book, because I don't want to give spoilers. Her magic has been stripped away from her. They have lost the war, and she has been imprisoned, and she is trying to get out of this prison so she can see what the outside world is like and try to redeem her people. And that's the main plot of the book. I really enjoyed the second installment. I gave the first installment 3 stars, and mostly it's because it was set in this one setting, and I felt like we were confined to just a few things. And in book 2, we are not confined to one setting, and so I feel like the character growth was great. The relationships built were fantastic, and I really, really enjoyed my time, and I cannot wait to continue on in the series. Coming in at number 1, I don't think it's any shocker that's going to be Call of the Bone Ships by R.J. Barker. I am continuing to enjoy my time with Tide Child. I gave this one 4 stars. I didn't quite enjoy it as much as the first, but I still really, really enjoyed this one. The first book is The Bone Ships, and we have these bone ships, and they are the workers on these bone ships are prisoners. They probably would be sent, the prisoners that are sent to death, right? And our main character gets kicked off from being a captain of this ship, and our female protagonist says, no, you are not fit to lead this ship. You're drunk. I'm taking over. And so we have Mies. So Lucky Mies takes over, and we don't know what anybody has done to get on to this prisoner ship. But these prisoner ships are the ships that they take to war. These are the people that fight the wars. And so Lucky Mies and her crew get a basically task to do, a mission per se to do. And so Lucky Mies has to then recruit some other people to help her do this mission, and that's the premise of book 1. That's where we start, and we are still journeying here, and I just love this. I love this book. I love the Galame. If you don't know what that is, I read it. Read it. I love the Galames. I love the narration of this book. I listen to the audiobooks. They're fantastic. That voice he does for the Galame is out of this world. I loved it. The only issue that drug me down with this one is because it's not very linear. It's not like, oh, we're going here and then we're going to end up here. It's kind of like, we're going here, now we've got to do this side thing, now we're coming back to here, now we got to go do this side thing, now we're coming back to here. And sometimes that can get tiring, but I am super stoked for the finale of this series, which hopefully I will read soon. Alright guys, that is it. That is all I read in the month of October. Let me know what you guys read. What were your favorite books? Have you read any of these books? What did you think? I will catch you guys later.